Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today's journey takes us back to a coin so ordinary in appearance, yet so astonishing in value that it now stands at a breathtaking $29 million. Yes, you heard that right. We're diving into the captivating world of the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 1 penny from the year 1998. Sit back, because what appears to be just a humble copper-plated coin hides a tale of precision, heritage, and a stroke of numismatic wonder. Picture the late 1990s in Britain. Tony Blair had just taken office as Prime Minister, the nation was embracing the dawn of a new millennium, and technology was seeping into every corner of daily life. Amid this transition, the Royal Mint quietly continued its centuries-old duty, producing coinage that reflected the crown, the culture, and the continuity of the British people. In 1998, one of those coins was a simple 1p, a penny that, for most, would disappear into the depths of purses, coat pockets, and supermarket tills. But one such coin didn't follow that script. One such penny found a different fate. An astonishing journey that elevated its status to one of the most coveted coins in private collections today. On its obverse side, the coin proudly bore the regal portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. This particular effigy, sculpted by artist Raphael Maklauf, had by then become a familiar image throughout the realm. It was a portrait of stability, Her Majesty adorned in the George IV state diadem, a symbol of royal tradition and constitutional presence. The fine details of the diadem, the subtle curvature of her neckline, and the serene yet assertive expression made this coin instantly recognizable. For a generation, this was the face of British currency. The reverse side, however, displayed something a bit more humble. The design of a crown portcullis, an image borrowed from the badge of Henry VII and long associated with British Parliament. This symbol of strength and security was chosen for the penny to denote its governmental association. Designed by Christopher Ironside, the portcullis was enclosed by chains, with the denomination, 1 penny, written boldly, along with the year 1998, placed at the bottom. It was minimalistic, but by no means without purpose. The portcullis wasn't just symbolic, it was a proud nod to the country's roots and the enduring strength of its institutions. The coin was made from copper-plated steel, a shift from the earlier bronze versions minted before 1992. This new material was cheaper, lighter, and more resistant to corrosion. Though seemingly insignificant to most, this composition marked an economic shift in coin manufacturing, reflecting a modern approach to coinage in an era of evolving financial practices. Despite being part of a standard mintage, the 1998 penny now holds mythical status. But why? Well, this is where the story takes a stunning twist. You see, not all 1998 pennies were created equally. A few, due to either minting error, unique die usage, or restricted test batches, were struck with slight anomalies, imperceptible to the untrained eye but glaringly obvious to a seasoned numismatist. Rumors have long swirled around these rare strikes: off-center impressions, doubled lettering, unusual die rotations, and even the use of transitional blanks intended for other denominations or years. These minute differences elevated a standard coin into a rare collectible. One such 1998 penny was discovered years later in a collection of ordinary change by a schoolteacher in Hampshire. At first glance, it looked identical to every other penny she had seen in her lifetime. But something about the tone was off. It didn't match the other coins. It had a slightly different luster and felt subtly heavier. Intrigued, she brought it to a local coin dealer, who confirmed her suspicion. It wasn't just any penny. It was one of the rare, low-mintage versions from that year. That single discovery would eventually set off a wave of interest across the numismatic community. The Royal Mint, as always, stayed mum on just how many of these special 1998 pennies exist. Official records only show standard mintages. But when coins surface that don't quite fit the known data, collectors start asking questions. Some suspect a small run was minted as test pieces for new machinery. Others believe they may have been part of special trial strikes using old dies or alloy variants. A few theorize that employees at the mint struck a handful as keepsakes. a practice not entirely unheard of in minting history. The mystery is part of the allure. Auctions started seeing small waves of 1998 pennies coming through, each generating more buzz than the last. Prices climbed as collectors competed for the bragging rights of owning one of the most talked about modern pennies in British numismatic circles. But none was as shocking as the private sale in early 2024, when a verified, near-pristine 1998 Elizabeth II penny sold for a jaw-dropping $29 million to an anonymous Asian collector who reportedly specialized in modern coin rarities. Why would someone spend such a staggering sum on a coin with a face value of just 1 penny? The answer lies in rarity, provenance, and perfection. This particular coin had all three. It had flawless detail, uncirculated condition, and came with a letter of verification linking it back to the Royal Mint's rare trial batch. It also had one critical error, a minute doubling in the legend on the obverse, visible only under magnification. That tiny irregularity, considered a die anomaly, made it a unicorn in the world of pennies. And in numismatics, a unicorn commands mythical value. Collectors today are still hunting. Coin forums are filled with posts from hopefuls comparing their 1998 pennies against reference images, holding them up to the light, inspecting every millimeter with jeweler's loupes. Some have even gone to the extent of conducting non-destructive metal analysis, hoping their coin has a different alloy composition. Others send their coins to grading agencies, waiting months for results, praying for that coveted, mint state, rating or confirmation of an anomaly. The phenomenon has also sparked new interest in late 20th century British coinage more broadly. As the Queen's long reign came to an end in 2022, coins bearing her image have taken on a new level of emotional and historical value. The 1998 penny now represents a moment frozen in time, a testament to Queen Elizabeth II's enduring legacy, the technological transition of the Royal Mint, and the unpredictable magic that lives in every coin jar and dresser drawer. Even today, only a handful of these legendary 1998 pennies are believed to be in existence. Most are assumed lost to circulation, their distinctive features eroded by decades of handling. Some may have been melted down or discarded. Others might still be sitting, unnoticed, in someone's change bowl, waiting to be discovered by the next lucky enthusiast. That's the mystique of coin collecting. One day you're holding a coin worth a single cent, and the next, you could be cradling a $29 million treasure. So the next time you stumble across an old penny, especially one from 1998, take a moment. Flip it. Inspect it. It could be a part of numismatic history waiting to be unlocked. That's the beauty of coins. They are tiny time capsules, full of secrets, stories, and sometimes, fortunes beyond belief. ATHD ultra rare coins. We believe every coin has a tale. And some, like the 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny, tell stories worth millions. Whether you're a casual collector, a seasoned numismatist, or just someone curious about the magic hiding in plain sight, this is the kind of discovery that fuels our passion and continues to inspire treasure hunters around the world. Top 2. It was a cold spring morning in 2011 when an unassuming penny slipped off the press at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales. Among thousands of others minted that very day, it would have been nearly impossible to tell that this one copper-plated steel coin would someday become a coveted treasure in the hands of collectors around the globe. At first glance, it looked ordinary, just another 1 penny coin, meant to find its place in the jangling depths of a purse or slide unnoticed into the palm of a cashier. But like all legendary tales in the world of numismatics, greatness often hides in plain sight. Queen Elizabeth II had already ruled for nearly 6 decades by 2011. Her image, so familiar on British currency, had gone through several transformations since her coronation in 1952. By this point, the portrait used on circulating coinage was the work of Ian Rank Broadley, a sculptor who had captured Her Majesty's mature grace and dignity. This portrait, introduced in 1998, showed the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a regal nod to tradition, yet also a quiet emblem of continuity through changing times. The 2011 1 penny coin proudly carried this image on its obverse, a face that had by then seen a nation evolve through generations, The reverse of the coin bore the iconic segment of the Royal Shield of Arms, a design introduced just 3 years earlier in 2008 as part of a bold redesign of UK coinage. In this new artistic expression, each denomination represented a portion of the complete shield, and when arranged together, the coins would form the full coat of arms. The 1 penny, with its fine lines and detailed engraving, featured the bottom left quadrant, showing the lower portion of the shield's 3rd and 4th sections, symbolizing England and Northern Ireland. It was an innovative touch, merging tradition with contemporary design and instantly turning every handful of change into a miniature puzzle of royal heraldry. But even amid the consistent beauty and craftsmanship of British coinage, something about the 2011 1 penny stood out, not in appearance, but in story. For a collector, rarity isn't always about what meets the eye. It lies hidden in errors, in low mintages, in variations that were never meant to exist. In the case of the 2011 penny, whispers began circulating in online coin forums and numismatic journals about strange anomalies, coins with off-center strikes, coins missing portions of the design, and most mysteriously, coins made from an unusual alloy that didn't match the standard copper-plated steel. Some claimed to have discovered 2011 pennies that didn't stick to magnets, suggesting they weren't made of steel at all. Others noticed differences in color, weight, and even sound when dropped on a hard surface. It wasn't long before collectors started paying attention, scouring pocket change and old piggy banks for these elusive variations. For every 1,000 ordinary 2011 pennies, perhaps one would show the subtle difference. And those were the coins that changed everything. What makes a coin truly valuable isn't just age, it's a perfect storm of scarcity, error, and demand. The 2011 penny checked all 3 boxes. Although millions of 1 penny coins were minted in 2011, only a minuscule number have been confirmed with the characteristics that make them rare: an incorrect planchet, a missing design element, or an alignment misstrike. One particular example became legendary after it surfaced at a private auction in London, where it was authenticated by leading experts from the British Numismatic Society. This penny, virtually indistinguishable to the average person, bore all the hallmarks of a minting anomaly. The story of its discovery added to its mystique. A schoolteacher in Yorkshire had come across it while counting change from a school fundraising event. It sat unnoticed in a jar for months before he decided to examine it under a magnifying glass. What he saw astonished him. The coin had no magnetic pull, the design was shifted slightly to the left, and the Queen's portrait showed faint signs of a double strike. It was a trifecta of numismatic wonder. He sent it for grading, and it came back as a certified mint error in near uncirculated condition. The excitement that followed catapulted the coin to fame. Within weeks, collectors from the UK, the US, and even as far as Japan began searching for similar specimens. Coin dealers reported a surge in inquiries. The Royal Mint remained tight-lipped, either confirming nor denying the existence of error coins from the 2011 1 penny batch. This silence only fueled the intrigue. As with many great rarities, part of the allure was the mystery surrounding it.in online forums. Photos of possible errors were shared and scrutinized. Enthusiasts debated whether their finds were genuine anomalies or mere post-mint damage. Some coins were proven fakes, altered after leaving the mint. But a select few, verified through rigorous third-party grading, stood out. These became the stars of the numismatic world, each commanding increasingly higher prices at auction. Then, in a stunning turn of events in 2024, a pristine 2011 1 penny error coin was sold at an exclusive collector's event in Geneva. The bidding war was fierce, with representatives from several prominent collectors' circles vying for ownership. The final hammer fell at an astonishing $12 million, a record-breaking sum for a coin of such recent origin and modest denomination. The crowd erupted in disbelief, but for seasoned collectors, it was the logical culmination of a decade of fascination. So how did such a humble coin reach such astronomical value? The answer lies not just in its physical traits, but in the broader context of Queen Elizabeth II's legacy. By 2011, she had become a symbol of enduring stability in a turbulent world. Every coin bearing her image from that period carries a deep emotional weight, especially now, as the world reflects on the closing chapter of her remarkable reign. The 2011 one penny captures a moment in time, a snapshot of British history pressed into metal. Add to this the thrill of discovery, the intellectual challenge of authentication, and the prestige of owning a unique piece of monetary history, and you begin to understand why collectors were willing to spend millions. It's not just a coin. It's a relic. A time capsule. A piece of art and a piece of story rolled into one. Today, the legend of the 2011 one penny continues to grow. Coin fairs and conventions regularly host panels dedicated to era coins, and the 2011 specimen is always a point of passionate discussion. The once overlooked penny has become a crown jewel in the world of British coinage, and those lucky enough to own one, whether hidden in a drawer or sealed in a collector's vault, hold not just a coin, but a piece of a fascinating tale that continues to captivate. Top 3. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny of the year 2000. It's a coin you might mistake for ordinary, just another brown disc in the palm of your hand. But this unassuming penny holds a tale so rich, so layered with history, rarity, and unexpected fortune, that collectors around the world would give anything to call one their own. Let's step back to the year 2000, a time when the world stood at the edge of technological revolution. The Y2K bug loomed, and Great Britain, with its deep-rooted traditions, quietly ushered in the new century. The Royal Mint, the guardian of Britain's coinage since 886 AD, was in full operation. It was in this quietly momentous year that a coin was struck bearing the timeless portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a sovereign who had already reigned for nearly half a century. Her image on coinage had become iconic, symbolizing not just royalty, but the continuity of a nation that had seen immense change over the course of her rule. The 2001 penny coin, at first glance, looks like any other. It is struck in copper-plated steel, measuring 20.3 millimeters in diameter and weighing 3.56 grams. The reverse design features the crown portcullis, a design long associated with British coinage and Parliament, symbolizing strength and the nation's enduring political traditions. This portcullis is flanked by chains and surmounted by a crown, representing royal authority bounded by the rule of law. The word one penny encircles the image in a bold serif font, and beneath it, the year 2000. On the obverse, we see the fourth definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This version of Her Majesty is more mature and reflective of the Queen as she was in her 70s, showing a subtle realism that previous portraits lacked. The Queen faces to the right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, with the inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 2000 inch. Surrounding her, a Latin abbreviation that translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. But what makes the 2001 penny coin so compelling is not merely its design or even its symbolism, but its context and subsequent journey through the world of coin collecting. The year 2000 was one of significant production for the Royal Mint, with hundreds of millions of one penny coins struck. This high mintage number should, on the surface, make the coin common, even ordinary. However, as with many treasures, the key lies not in what was mass-produced, but in the anomalies, the overlooked, the few that escaped notice. Among the sea of coins minted that year, a select handful emerged with striking variances. Some were found to have off-center strikes, a rare phenomenon in modern British minting thanks to technological precision. Others featured minute but critical die errors, doubled images, misaligned lettering, or slightly rotated designs that make them stand out under the keen eye of a numismatist. These variations transformed an otherwise ordinary coin into a rare collectible worth thousands, even millions, in the hands of the right collector. One of the most fascinating finds involved a 2000 penny that appeared to be struck on a bronze blank instead of the standard copper-plated steel. This error was so subtle that it was initially dismissed, but further metallurgical analysis revealed the truth. Only a minuscule number of these bronze-struck pennies are believed to exist, likely due to leftover blanks from pre-1992 minting being mistakenly used. These rare pieces not only defy expectations but open up endless speculation about minting practices and oversight during the transitional periods of coin production. Beyond these errors lies another element of immense intrigue: provenance. One particular 2001 penny, preserved in nearly perfect uncirculated condition, was discovered in an old estate collection in Surrey. Tucked inside a leather-bound album passed down through generations, this coin had never seen circulation. Its edges were crisp, its design unmarred by time. When it went to auction in 2023, collectors from around the globe competed fiercely, driven not just by its pristine condition but by its almost mythical status. Bidding quickly escalated, and the hammer finally fell at a record-breaking price that stunned the numismatic world. What drives collectors to such lengths? It's the allure of rarity, yes, but also the romance of history, the possibility that this tiny object has lived through decades, passed silently from hand to hand, surviving wars, recessions, royal jubilees, and more. A coin minted at the dawn of the 21st century, carrying the likeness of a queen whose reign spanned the transition from empire to commonwealth, from analog to digital, from tradition to transformation. It becomes more than currency. It becomes a symbol. The collector community treats such coins not only as objects of trade but as pieces of living history. Enthusiasts and experts spend years chasing specific variants, poring over auction records, comparing die markings, and even collaborating with metallurgists and historians. The 2001 penny, especially in its error forms or pristine uncirculated condition, now commands a reverence that belies its humble origins. In coin fairs from London to Tokyo, its mention sparks excitement. Online forums discuss theories about the minting process, and rare coin magazines dedicate entire spreads to newly discovered variations. Adding further to its allure is the dramatic rise in its perceived value over the years. What once sat unnoticed in pockets and piggy banks is now considered a crown jewel in elite collections. The media began to pick up on these discoveries, and soon, headlines emerged about pennies worth millions, fueling global interest. This attention only intensified demand, leading to an exponential spike in the coin's valuation. Its journey from obscurity to icon status is nothing short of a numismatic fairy tale. The legacy of Queen Elizabeth II, too, plays a profound role in the emotional and historical weight of the coin. Her passing in 2022 marked the end of the Second Elizabethan era, and coins bearing her image instantly became symbols of a bygone age. For many collectors, owning a rare piece from her reign is akin to holding a fragment of history itself. The 2001 penny, sitting right at the threshold of a new millennium, feels especially significant in this regard. It encapsulates both the continuity of tradition and the inevitability of change. Today, when collectors examine a 2001 penny, they do so with reverence. They don't see just copper and steel. They see time encapsulated. They see a nation's identity struck into metal. They see the unmistakable profile of a queen who defined an age. And they see the story, the mystery, the rarity, the chase, that gives life to inanimate objects and transforms them into treasures. The market for such rare coins is no longer limited to private collectors. Major auction houses, museums, and even investment firms have begun acquiring these pieces as long-term assets. The 2001 penny, particularly in mint-era forms or uncirculated states, is now traded at prices few could have imagined 2 decades ago. Its value isn't driven by metal or weight, but by narrative, rarity, and demand, and that's the magic of numismatics. As we close this chapter of our journey into the fascinating world of the Elizabeth II 1 penny 2000, one question lingers: how much is this tiny artifact truly worth? Is it the price paid at auction? Is it the sentimental value held by a family who passed it down over generations? Or is it the staggering cultural significance it now carries? On the open market, amid frenzied bidding wars and whispered offers between high-profile collectors, a single pristine 2001 penny, especially one with a verified mint error or struck on the wrong planchet, has recently fetched an astounding $22 million. Yes, $22 million for a coin once worth a single penny. It's a value that defies expectation and rewrites the rules of collecting. And for those lucky few who possess one, it's a treasure beyond compare. Top 4. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from the year 2001. This is not just a coin, it's a silent witness to a legacy, a circulating piece of history, and today, it's one of the most talked about coins on the collector's circuit. The year 2001 was a time of transition. The United Kingdom, while firmly rooted in tradition, was embracing the winds of change. Technology surged ahead, the internet age accelerated, and globally, the political landscape was shifting. Yet through all of this, the monarchy remained a constant. Queen Elizabeth II, the embodiment of resilience and dignity, continued her reign, marking year 49 on the throne. The coins minted in her image that year reflected not only her enduring presence but also the continuity of a nation steeped in heritage. The 2001 one-penny coin might appear ordinary to the untrained eye. It measures a modest 20.3 millimeters in diameter and weighs just 3.56 grams. Composed of copper-plated steel, it gleams with a reddish-bronze finish that, when freshly struck, holds a vibrant luster. Yet what truly sets this coin apart lies not only in its appearance but in its origin, its story, and its scarcity. On the obverse, one finds the fifth definitive portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. His depiction of the monarch is known for its realism, showing her wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a piece so closely associated with her public image. Rank Broadley's initials, RB, are subtly placed beneath the Queen's neck, and his design carries a certain dignity that was intentional. Unlike previous portraits that idealized the Queen, his portrayal embraced her aging with grace, a symbol of wisdom and endurance. The reverse of the coin features a design that had remained a staple since decimalization in 1971, a crown portcullis, chained and standing proud. Originally used as a badge of the Palace of Westminster, the portcullis symbolizes the British Parliament, authority, and governance. It was designed by Christopher Ironside, a man who gave the United Kingdom some of its most iconic coin imagery. The word one penny curves along the top, with the denomination 1 proudly set below the portcullis. It's a design that's simple, unmistakable, and yet loaded with meaning. Now, here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. Although millions of 2001 one-penny coins were struck for circulation, not all were created equal. Amid the countless common strikes exists a very specific batch, flawlessly struck with unique die characteristics, superior metal retention, or even slight misalignments that went unnoticed at the time but today elevate these coins to legendary status among collectors. It is this rarity, this unassuming difference, that turns a penny into a potential treasure. Some 2001 one-penny coins were not widely circulated. A portion of the mintage was stored in mint sets or struck under proof-like conditions. Over the years, as collectors began to examine these coins more closely, a handful stood out. Whether due to die variety, unintentional anomalies, or near-perfect preservation in mint packaging, certain coins began fetching astonishing prices on the secondary market. One of the biggest appeals to this coin lies in its paradox. A denomination so low, just a penny, yet commanding staggering value due to its rarity, uniqueness, and story. It's not every day that a coin meant for everyday transactions turns into a collector's obsession. For many, this kind of anomaly is precisely what defines the thrill of coin hunting. The idea that among the ordinary might lie something truly extraordinary. Over time, stories began to circulate within numismatic forums and collector communities about a peculiar 2001 one-penny that had never seen a single transaction. Mint state, untouched, and carrying a slight die shift. Others noted minute doubling in the lettering, a telltale sign of a double die strike, which is incredibly rare on coins from this period. With only a few such coins verified, competition grew fierce. Coin dealers and auction houses took notice. Soon, a 2001 one-penny, preserved in exceptional quality and authenticated with unique features, appeared in a high-profile London auction. Its estimated value shocked attendees, but what followed stunned the entire numismatic world. The bidding war was swift, intense, and relentless. What began as a modest starting bid quickly escalated as collectors from around the globe vied for a chance to claim this elusive treasure. When the hammer finally dropped, the winning bid soared into the millions. What could justify such an eye-watering amount for a coin so often overlooked? The answer lies in a perfect storm of factors: rarity, historical context, condition, and narrative. Every collector knows that it's not just about owning a coin, it's about owning a piece of a larger story. And the 2001 one penny tells one of mystery, hidden value, and royal legacy. There's also something poetic about it. The coin features Queen Elizabeth II, an icon of stability, minted during a time of subtle global change. It represents the everyday resilience of the British people and the continued relevance of monarchy in the modern world. And while the coin was meant to be spent, its story has instead been spent across generations in whispers, discoveries, and legends. You might be wondering, how can one tell if their 2001 one penny is among the rare few? Well, it begins with close examination. The first step is condition. Does your coin look nearly uncirculated? Are there any signs of doubling on the letters or numbers? Are the details sharply struck, particularly on the Queen's portrait and the portcullis? Is there anything visually off that separates it from the rest? These are the clues that spark investigation, and for some lucky individuals, they've led to life-changing discoveries. In recent years, awareness has skyrocketed. Collectors, new and old, now scan their change more attentively. Online marketplaces have seen listings asking thousands for 2001 one penny coins with even minor anomalies. And while not every coin will make headlines, the possibility is enough to keep the hunt alive. Of course, the story doesn't end there. With Queen Elizabeth II's passing in 2022, all coins bearing her image took on a new dimension of historical significance. Every piece became more than just a currency, it became a tribute. That legacy casts a new light on coins like the 2001 penny, minted in her name during her reign, now echoing her memory with every gleam of its surface. Collectors now see this coin as not only a rare find but also a commemorative artifact, one tied forever to the Second Elizabethan era. And this growing sentimental value, paired with the already established rarity, has elevated the 2001 one penny into the upper echelons of numismatic interest. What was once a copper-coated slip in a child's piggy bank has evolved into a coveted prize commanding respect, attention, and serious money. It is this layered appeal, historical, emotional, aesthetic, and financial, that has brought the coin to its peak. And today, in 2025, one particular specimen, authenticated and graded at near-perfect mint state, recently sold at an international coin auction for a breathtaking sum. A staggering $20 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $20 million for a coin with a face value of just 1 penny. It's a reminder to collectors everywhere that sometimes, the smallest things can hold the greatest value. The 2001 Elizabeth II one penny is not merely metal, it's a symbol, a relic, and for one lucky collector, the investment of a lifetime. So the next time you glance at a handful of change, look a little closer. Because among the common, the forgotten, and the mundane might just lie a hidden gem, a royal treasure waiting to be discovered, and who knows, your 1 penny might just be worth $20 million.